alphabet agencies out there hiding in the bushes. I'm here to let the gang enforcement task forces, the FBI, CIA, ATF, Sheriff's Posse, NSA, DEA, Department of Homeland Security, and all those in law enforcement know that we know what your game is. We know what your agenda is. You have pulled the wool over the sheeple's eyes, but you haven't pulled it over ours. We are on to you. I am here today to go on record, and I know you're recording this. I wish to go on record today and say we know your holier-than-thou game plan. We know about your agenda. We know you think you're controlling this game. We know you think you've got this game rigged and we can't hope to compete. We know you are wrong. I'm here today to address the cop on the beat, the patrolman on the road, the officer on the horse. We know that for the most part you do what you're told. We know sometimes your job is not popular even with yourselves. We know that much of the discrimination towards bikers comes from those in charge of you. We know some of you are assholes too, but I'm hoping that most of you are simply caught up in what others further up the food chain have charged you with doing. So hear me today, officer. Hear my plea. Don't be a fool for your department. We are not the enemy. We are freedom-loving patriots, and many of us are veterans that care deeply about this flawed country of ours, and I'm asking you, officer, think twice about who we are. We are not the enemy. Those of us here today care deeply about our freedoms. We care deeply enough that we are not going to let a handful of self-professed biker experts take us down. John Chacon, are you listening? Gil Blanco, are you listening? You've lied to the public, you've lied to the courts, you've lied to the press. Your agenda is to protect the public from the biker menace, when in fact the public needs to be protected from you. You and your ilk, you and your kind have carefully crafted a public image of you being the public savior. You've lied to America and told them they need protection from us, that U.S. citizens need law enforcement to save them from us. Thanks to the ATF-funded Gangland series and the self-righteous, self-aggrandizing works of people like Jay Dobbins and Billy Queen, John Q. Public wakes up every morning wondering if the biker hordes are going to descend on their town today. Will their wives and kids and dogs be safe from us today? There must be a real threat from bikers and bike gangs. The ATF and the press says so. We're on to you, John Chacon, Darren Kozlowski, and all you confidential informants sent to infiltrate us. We're on to your dirty schemes. We know how you operate. We know you will seek any avenue you can to hurt us. And when you can't find any real dirt, no problem. You'll just invent some. All you confidential informants, we know you will just lie to get your own sorry ass out of jail at the expense of some bike club with a scary sounding name, and somebody will go down. In Rock Hill, Carolina, a Hells Angels by the name of Diamond Dan Brewer is pretty much looking at life in prison after being railroaded by a snitch named DeJulio, who lied to get a better deal for himself. Now Dan and his wife and several members of the Rock Hill chapter and other members of smaller bike clubs are now doing serious time after being set up by the ATF and the local law enforcement and the snitch. This is going on all across the country. Make no mistake about it, my brothers and sisters, my friends, you children of the wind. We are under attack. We are under attack because we're easy. We are sitting ducks. We do not hide. Why should law enforcement use their resources to go after street gangs who hide and don't wear colors and don't have the respect and, yes, the admiration of some of the public like we do? Why chase after a bunch of scurrying rats that they can't find, can't see, and frankly don't want to look for? Much easier to target motorcycle clubs, much easier to mislead the public about how they are taking down the big bad bikers and protecting America from us. And here's the part that's fucked up. If they can't find anything to pin on us, they will, and I repeat, will, manufacture something. The internet is full of stories of the duplicity of the ATF and law enforcement. They will lie, they will plant evidence, and they do conduct stings to further their own nefarious agendas. Why? They need us. They need us to be the boogeymen. Boogie women. They need the public to be afraid of us. They need the public to think that they, the alphabet agencies, are there to keep them safe from us. They need the grants. How do they get the grants? By the arrest record, not the conviction record. The arrest record. That allows them funding so they can repeat the cycle all over again next year. We are under attack. Police and law enforcement laugh up their sleeves at us. They don't have to try very hard to catch us doing something illegal. They don't have to work very hard to convince the public about who we are, because us, by our very lifestyle, make it easy for them. We are freedom-loving, freewheeling, hard-riding, thrill-seeking road warriors. We, by our very nature, tend to be just barely in control of ourselves, let alone being in control of polite society. We smoke, we drink, and fight. And all of those things used to be just part of our culture a few years back. Now they are a ticket to the big house, courtesy of a few snitches and RICO. It's a very different world today than it was a few years ago. Law enforcement has found a formula to fuck with us. They found it easy to stigmatize us, to collude the press into vilifying us, and they found that during a slow period of law enforcement, they can always mess with the bikers, and they do. Now, I'm not saying we don't bring some of this unwanted attention on ourselves. Hell, we're our own worst enemies at times. Our culture can be violent. Our culture can be damning. Our culture can be made to look like the very worst of society. To us, we're simply acting honest and direct and maybe having a little fun. To law enforcement, we are the antithesis of society. We are the lawbreakers, the scum of the earth. We deserve to be profiled and arrested, and we deserve worse. The flip side of this is that if you look at almost any segment of society, the bowling league, the Shriners, the military, the illegal aliens, and the government, the by God government, they all have murders, fights, and mayhem. Sometimes they even make the papers, but they do not generate the thrill, the excitement, the danger, the press of motorcycle clubs wreaking havoc on society. Easy. We're easy. So what are we going to do? We are doing it. Today, we're doing it. Today we're here banded together to fight the discrimination, the unlawful profiling, the stigma, and the bullying of those who would take us down. We are, just by being here, demonstrating to our government and our fellow citizens and to the world and to us that we are not going to put up with this crap any longer. We're here today to make a point. We're here today to make a stand against those who would punish us, a stand against those who seek to use us, a stand against all who would vilify us to their own greedy ends. We are here in support of our brothers in Australia who are now suffering under some of the most draconian laws since Hitler's Germany. We're here to tell them, fight, brothers. Get attorneys, hold rallies, do whatever you can to push back. We are with you. We stand with you and for you. Fight the Nimrods in your Queensland government. If nothing else, vote them out. Today, I vow to do all I can to stand up to the law enforcement gangs of this country. I vow to help do whatever is necessary to keep our freedoms, to protect ourselves and our families from unlawful, outrageous, forceful entry, from unlawful and outrageous profiling, from unlawful and outrageous setups by snitches. I vow to educate the public and to educate ourselves. I vow to fight the injustice heaped upon us by those who would exploit us to their own ends. Remember, all you furry, funny, unwashed, unloved, underweight, overweight, loud, obnoxious, beautiful biker people. You are the last American freedom fighters. You are what makes America great. Even unappreciated, unloved, and misunderstood, you are fighting for all America's freedoms. They just don't know it yet. Ride proud, ride free, or die. Go Niners!
Yeah!